Welcome back to Global Access Bars Day. My name is Sarah Grandinetti, and today I'm joined by two amazing facilitators, Cara Wright and Megan Hill. One of the reasons we put on this day is to give you more of an awareness of what what Access Bars will contribute to you and how they can help any area of your life. And so today we're talking about birthing possibilities. Cara has a really amazing story about how bars contributed to her life with birthing.
Yeah. So I actually have it's birthing, pregnancy, fertility, all of the above. I found bars personally probably 8 or 9 years ago, and how I found bars was I was actually struggling with infertility for, it was probably 6 years at the time, and I had tried everything. And I had someone send me, I think it was a little 5-minute video about Dane talking about bars, and I didn't know what it was. I had never had my bars run, and I was like, I don't know what this is, but I'm gonna try it. And so I found myself at a bars class shortly after that. And for me personally, with the infertility battle, and it was really a battle at that point for me, I had lived years. At the time, I was also a birth doula, and I taught prenatal yoga, and I had my own studio, and everything in my life was around pregnancy and birth, and yet I was personally having trouble conceiving. So it was very intense, and I was having a lot of panic attacks, I was depressed, I was all sorts of things. And the minute I showed up at that class, I knew something would be different. And so I went to a bars class, never having gotten my bars run. I really didn't even know what the heck it was, to be honest. And when I was first getting my bars run, I personally could feel a lot of that anxiety based on my own personal judgment of myself over the years of what I wasn't able to accomplish and what my body wasn't willing to do that I really wanted it to do. And also at that first class, I laid there going, if this does what everybody says it does, which 8 years down the road, it absolutely does, this is gonna be such a huge gift to every single client that I go into a birth with. Because so much of what happens at birth is mental. There's a lot of fear, there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of choices you have to make. There's so much that happens at birth, and bars was a game changer as a doula. I started using bars with all of my clients. Half of them didn't know what I was doing. I just was like, this is what I do as part of my practice. You're just gonna lay down. Most of the time they would fall asleep, or they would, some would ask questions, but really, truly, it didn't matter. If I ran their bars 2 to 3 times before their birth, I went from attending births that were 36 to 48 hours long, which was pretty common for those of you that don't know a lot about birth.
No one's ever gonna have a baby ever again.
It's supposed to be miraculous and short.
And if you can't accomplish that, there's something wrong with you, which is what pretty much every woman actually thinks. And what started to happen is truly, it was it would go to, I was at births that was 10 hours, 6 hours. There were births where we barely made it to the hospital. And women were just able to actually have a lot more ease without even realizing that they were having the ease. And truly, bars is the thing that I added. So it is one of the coolest things that you can use when you're in a situation where birth is very unpredictable. You don't have a clue what's gonna happen. You really cannot prepare for it. And yet doing bars with people actually allowed whatever was gonna show up with more ease. So I am a fan personally and professionally. And yeah.
So Megan, you are not a doula, but
No.
you are a bars facilitator.
I wish I knew Cara.
But you, as a bars facilitator, took this miraculous body process, we'll call it, and changed people's lives, including someone who was trying to get pregnant. So can you tell us a little bit about that and how that ended up turning out more miraculous than we thought?
I was one of the women that Cara discussed. I thought I would have a very lovely birth. My birth did not go so well, so I had experienced a lot of trauma, as they call it. But the bars helped me release all of basically there's a lot of judgment, you've got to get it right. And if you don't do it this way, then you have like effed up your kid and you for their entire life. No pressure, right? So I started working with women who were trying to get pregnant or just had anything that they wanted to change around birthing and pregnancy. And one lady called me and she was having a hard time getting pregnant, so we used the Access Consciousness tools. She was in a different state, so I encouraged her to get her bars run. So she was getting her bars run and then also asking questions. So a lot of Access Consciousness is about asking questions to see what else is possible. So she actually ended up becoming pregnant, hooray. And then about a year, I think, you guys do the math from pregnancy to birth. I got a phone call on the day she delivered, and she had basically a horror story. She had finally conceived after many months of not being able to, many years actually of miscarriages, conceived, has the baby, and the baby had a stroke type thing during the delivery. So she called me, and I was then, of course, supposed to go and save the day. I freaked out, of course. No pressure again. I ended up calling Dane here and Gary Douglas, and they said just go and hold the baby and ask the baby to know, hold the baby and to say, take everything that my body knows about the gift of being alive and the magic of being in a body. Take everything that I know, everything that Gary and Dane know, everything the universe knows, and then you have total choice. Stay, go, whatever you would like to do. So I did, and that was intense as it can be. And within 24 hours, the doctors came back and they were absolutely stunned because the X-rays that were showing what had occurred in the baby's brain was totally gone. And the baby is now, I think she's probably 6 years old now, and she's the happiest, most joyful little creature that I've seen in a long time. So the Access tools can help before, during, and after delivery, no matter what occurs. You can change anything with ease.
And I had a very similar story, but not in the trauma way, but when you have a new baby and you're a new mom and you're trying to get it all right, like we all do, and then there's this little person in your life now that won't sleep. And, and you're like, what's happening? But using the bars, and I was lucky enough to have Dr. Dane here, who's my brother, at my children's birth, and he held them and did the same thing that you did for that baby. And those babies slept, in day 2, they were already sleeping 8 hours. I had to fake being a tired mom for the first 6 months because everybody wants to do so many things for you when you're so tired. But I wasn't, because I had these babies that were miraculously sleeping through the night. So these tools work not just in the trauma situations, but just in parenting as a whole. Mm-hmm. And so, Megan, you have a son who you've raised with these tools, and how has it contributed to you with parenting?
It's wonderful. So if ever you're a parent and you get cranky, getting your bars run is a really great tool. And he will even say he sent me actually a message the other day saying, "Do you need to get your bars run?" Which I did. So the bars just make everything easier. And with him now, as he's gotten a little bit older, he's 10, and if he starts getting with the world that we are in during the lockdowns and just the online schooling, he started actually asking to get his bars run way more, and his life just gets easier afterwards. So anytime there's a crank, he asks for his bars to be run, and it creates a lot of space and ease, as you guys have heard today so far.
And as a parent, when you have a kid who tells everybody that your mom goes around the world doing bars, it can make for a really funny conversation. Yeah. So, Car, how do you know when you need to have your bars run?
Oh, I just know I could get my bars run all the time. I just know. It's always just that sense of for me, it's a sense of not having the space of who I know I am and feeling very contracted. So that is when I know I need to get my bars run. Yeah. If
you are pregnant and watching, a great thing is a zero gravity chair to get your bars running, because it's kind of hard to lay back, when you've got a baby in your belly. So zero gravity chairs are wonderful. You can sit in a chair and have somebody run it. Any other advice for bars? with
Well, I
when
would
you're
say
pregnant?
that one of the cool things that, as you guys were speaking, when I started running bars on women who were pregnant, one of the cool things for me and for the moms is that when you're running a woman's bars who is pregnant, the baby also has the benefit of all of those things. So everything that's dissipating and releasing, all of the thoughts, the feelings, and the emotions, the baby actually has the gets the effect of that as well. And there's so many babies that would have, like, they would just be different, and women would notice that they would be different in their bellies. Some of them would move around a lot more. Some of them would be, more calm, and they would just, all the women that I would run bars with, even though they didn't know really what I was doing, they would notice the difference with their baby, even when they were in the belly. So I always thought that was really, really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
And can you run bars on babies?
Yes, you can. You can run bars on babies. I've done it a lot. They're obviously very fast. Because one of the things that does happen when you are in the birth space, for those of you that have had babies or been in birth spaces, it's kind of an intense thing. And there's really no way to avoid the intensity of it. It's just part of the whole process. And, babies are aware of that. And some of them, just like, adult people, some of them, it's easy for them to handle that intensity, and some of them it's really, really not. And so one of the things that I would do in postpartum care is show the women how to, do a couple different bars points. And again, some of them would be interested in what was actually happening, and some of them would just be grateful for something else they could do if their baby wasn't sleeping, or if they were crying all the time, or if they have colic, or, the things that can show up when you have a new being in a body that's wondering what the hell just happened. So yeah.
And would you suggest, looking at, all the classes there are pre-birth, where people were going to,
Preparation classes?
all the preparation classes that give you lots of information.
Which is basically an oxymoron because you can't prepare for it at all.
I'm glad
Yeah.
you said it.
Yeah.
But what would a world be like if
man.
a pregnant woman and her partner were actually going to a bars class and receiving that as part of their preparation?
Wow.
That would be amazing.
It would.
What would it take?
What would it take?
So if you're watching and if you work with pregnant people, if you are a nurse or anything like that, and you would like help in getting this out to places that you work, hospitals, doulas, or where do doulas live? Do they just have?
They live everywhere.
Doulaville. They live in Doulaville?
Should you find them online?
There's a hobbit town. No. There's doulas everywhere. There's organizations everywhere. So yeah.
You can actually email customer service, so customerservice@accessconsciousness.com, and we will help you find your way if you would like to contribute to Access Bars getting out there into the world of pregnancy and birthing, because we think it would be wonderful if that could occur. Anything else?
I think that's it.
We finished under our time. What will they do? Good? Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cara.
Thank you.